styles inside the page itself. Okay, so this is the one. So external style sheet means styles in the external file. Okay, so inline styles means style in the element itself. Okay, so these are the three things. Actually, these are the only we can apply styles using the three types only. Okay, so now, so these things we have seen on first day class itself. This thing we have seen on yesterday, and this is we are going to see today. And one more thing here, for all the types, there is no changes in the style property, which means color. If you want to use the color, or if you want to use background, or if you want to use margin padding, everything is same for all the three things actually. Only thing is how are we defining, where are we defining? These are the two things will be different. So for the inline style also, I can do the same thing. Okay, so maybe just think about, okay, for this images there, no, for these images, I want to apply some border actually. Okay, for the thing, for this left section. Okay, so here I'm having a image left section, right section. So for this section, I want to add a simple border. Just for inline purposes, I'm just telling actually. So in this style, I'm just mentioning border 2 pixel solid red color. I'm just mentioning. This is the class. Okay. So this is the same border I'm gonna provide it for right section as well. Okay. We mentioning as you can see here. Now it gets the border for this particular element. Okay. That's because it has the border color. I have provided the border color. So now you can see one more thing. Here this border is the same as what we have done on the external style sheet as well, which means the external style sheet I have defined the border color as the same as what we have done it for inline as well. Yeah. So here I have given border like this, like border 5 pixel dotted along with the color, right? The same thing, the same style property I have provided for inline as well. So in this inline, okay, in the inline I have provided the same one without any changes. So only thing is I have provided the attribute called style. So in the style I have provided all the property. Okay, so which means there is no changes in terms of style properties. Only thing is how are we going to define the styles is the different for all the three things. So in the way we can define all the styles actually. Okay, which means in case if we want to add any other margin property or any other padding property, all these things we can do the same thing actually. Okay, okay. So this is what about border actually. Okay, okay. Next, what we are going to see is the the priority for the styles actually. Okay, now consider for the same element, for one element I am having a three different style properties from the all of the threes. For example, just consider I am having an element called h3. Okay, for the h3 I am giving a background color as, for the h3 element in the internal style sheet I am giving a background color as red color. Okay, the same in external style sheet. The external style sheet I am giving a blue color, and then inline style sheet, sorry, inline style, I am giving a background color as maybe like black. Okay, just consider this thing. So now what will happen? So for the h3 element, which attribute can be applied actually? Okay, so these are the three different styles in our application, which means in the h3 I'm having a three different styles. So internal style sheet means is the background color of red, external style sheet means is the background color of blue, inline style sheet means is the background color of black. So now what will happen is the priority will be always inline style will be the first one, which means this inline style sheet will be the first priority in terms of if the element is having a same style, same different style, maybe it's not, yeah, same style, and the first priority will be for inline style, second will be go for internal style sheet, second will be go for internal style sheet, third will be go for external actually. Okay, these are the three different styles, okay, in terms of element style sheet. Okay, now I will show you this thing, which means now maybe I will consider this footer. Yeah, this footer I want to give the background color. As you can see here, this is the footer, right? For this footer, I want to add a background color. Okay, so in the same footer, I'm going to provide first this footer. I think already I'm having. Um, Site, it's a different row. Okay, so in this footer, I'm going to provide background as a um, okay, it's aqua I'm just providing. Okay. Okay, this color I'm just providing actually. Let it be. So now if I refresh the page, as you can see here, now this some light green is showing actually. Okay. Okay. So this is what about the first thing. The next one is this is an internal style sheet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide the same footer with the same tag, which means for the same class. For the same class, I'm gonna add a background color with a different value. Okay. So here, what I'm gonna provide is maybe like I will change it to okay, not this thing. Yeah, blue color I'm adding. Okay. So now if I refresh it, right? Once again. Okay. That's because this. Okay, now it become a blue color. And one more thing I hear, this thing is very important. This how where we place the element is which means the where we have placed the element that is also important. Which means here I am having an external style sheet. After that I am having a internal style sheet so that our footer got overridden by the value. Okay, this is one more thing actually. So in case if I move this internal style sheet above the link tag, then this value get overridden. This is about just overriding the property in the browser while loading the CSS property, which means here I am having a footer. Now this is the first one is getting loaded. After that, again the footer is getting overridden by the style to external CSS. This background color become the red, light green color. Due to that, it's got overridden. Okay. So in case if I want to make the CSS into something like that, then if I refresh it, then I will get the blue color. Okay, this is the first one. So now the same footer. Okay, in the same footer, I'm just providing a style as a here in the inline style. I'm providing inline style as a background color. What's the color? Okay, I am providing some brown color. I am providing. Okay, so now I am having for the same footer. I am having this blue color. In the external style sheet, I am having a green color. In the inline style, I am having a brown color. So now, as I told earlier, the first priority always will be the inline style actually. Okay, so none of the element can't be able to top that. So if I refresh it, as you can see here, the brown will be loaded because the brown is getting first priority as it is in the inline style sheet. Okay, so this is what about all the three style sheet and how are we going to use it in our application. So due to the some scenario. Okay, so this is the reason most of the real-time projects or real-time programming, they won't prefer the inline style sheet until unless how it is important on the particular line actually. So mostly most developers won't prefer inline styles because in future if they want to use any other color, then it will be very tough for them to change the line. If it is in a external style sheet or internal style sheet, it will be very easy for them to modify. But if it is an inline style sheet, it is not an easy thing to modify because it is in a standard a static way which we can't able to easily changeable. So there is a reason. And one more thing, whenever we are using inline style like this, the browser will take too much time to render the CSS or to render the element, because each and every page it has to find the CSS and it has to load it in memory as well. So what will happen? Browser will take too much time to render the element. It's not like too much time. Don't think like it's like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Again, it will take some more time than the internal style sheet, because whenever you are defining a CSS property in internal style sheet or external style sheet, when the page loads, which means as you can see here, the head will be loaded in the page loading itself. So which means when the page is getting loaded, there itself it will load all the CSS property. So further it won't consider any CSS. So in case if along with this internal and the external style sheet, if you are providing any other inline style also, it has to identify the particular element and it needs to override the property. Apart from this, even if it is not overridden the property, it has to load the CSS property into the is memory. So due to that, it is not preferable way to add an inline style in the page. But in case in some scenario, in some places, if you want to add, then it has to be okay. It is somehow good, but it is not a. In case if we have a chance to work on external style sheet, it always good for defining in the external style sheet or internal style sheet comparing to the inline actually. Okay, so these things either we can go for external and internal. Inline is mostly not preferable. And one more thing, here when it comes to internal or external, as I told, maybe external style sheet means we can use the styles in other pages as well. Which means if you see here, I have used the same style 2.css in contact as well. In the same contact, I am having the same CSS. In about also, I am having the same CSS. So in case in future, if I want to change any other color, if we change in this file, automatically it will apply for everywhere. Which means, as you can see here, this is because inline style it become brown color. If I go to about file, it became a green color because I didn't do change in the about HTML, but still the CSS is getting changed. That's because we have added this CSS in the external style sheet. In case if it is an internal style, then it won't applicable because internal style sheet depends on the page, but external style is depends on the CSS file. So even if I go to contact page, as you can see here, now I get the same green color for the footer because the CSS is loading from the external. Due to that, I will get the proper value here as well. Okay, so this is what about using the external style sheet. So when you need a common CSS for entire application, then we can go for external style sheet. In case if you want to specifically for the particular page, the changes has to be applied for the only particular page, then we can go for the internal style sheet. Most preferably, this is either we can go for internal or external style sheet. In some cases, if you want to apply any inline style, then we can go for inline as well. Okay, so these are the things in terms of CSS and all these things. Okay, so any other doubts regarding this inline, external, or